In this training session, we're going to look at completing an RFP. So once you're ready to complete an RFP, you want to go into Cvent and go to your property bid list and find the particular RFP that you're wanting to complete. You will notice that if it's an RFP that you haven't touched yet, it will show as a new RFP under the status column. In the action column to the far right, it will give you the option to participate yes or no. If you want to participate and start completing the RFP, you would need to click into yes. If you've already opened the RFP, it may show as in progress or active under status. And you can go ahead and just click that edit bid button there under the action column. So for training purposes, we'll look at this test RFP here, and I'll go ahead and click edit bid. The bid will then open and show us some basic rate plan information and programme requirements specific to the RFP that you are completing. It will give us the start and the end date, so that is our season period that we need to adhere to. The maximum room types that we can enter with the maximum seasons we can enter within the start and end date. It will give us the accepted occupancy rates. This may be single or double occupancy. It will give us the stay types that the RFP is allowing you to offer. So it may be that they give you the option to offer a daily stay rate plan as well as an extended stay or just the daily stay. It will give you the accepted rate plan types that the programme is accepting. So it could be fixed LRA, fixed non-LRA, or dynamic. And it will also give you the number of custom questions within the particular RFP that you're in, as well as the maximum blackout and fair date days within the maximum blackout and fair date periods. So on this example, we know that the maximum periods we can offer is 10, and within those 10 periods, we can offer a maximum of 30 days. Okay, so if we scroll down, it will give you any supporting documents. You do want to make sure these are downloaded and read before completing the RFP, as they may detail any further programme requirements, any programme contacts, or any market data. And if it is a consortia programme that you're looking to complete, it also might detail any costs involved. Cvent will not allow you to complete the RFP unless you've ticked, I have read the account documents. So please do make sure you download them from here and have a read through before completing. Okay, if we scroll down even further, it will give us the daily stay rate plans that we can add. And if they have selected an extended stay rate plan, you can add that here too. Okay, so you want to go and click add a daily stay. And again, just referring back up to the programme requirements, for this particular RFP, it's allowing us to select either fixed LRA, fixed non-LRA, or dynamic. You will only ever be able to enter one rate plan. So you cannot offer dual rates in Cvent in the rate plan section. You will either have to select a fixed rate plan or a dynamic. You can't offer both within the rate plan stage. So if, for example, a programme may suggest some form of dual rate loading, that will likely be in the custom questions, or maybe it's dealt with directly with the corporate. It won't allow you to do that in Cvent, unfortunately. Okay, so going back to the adding the rate plan itself, if we want to click into add a daily stay, and for training purposes, I'll select dynamic rate plan. It will give a little error triangle, and that's because we need to actually complete the rate plan itself in order to attach it to the RFP. So we want to click into the rate plan that we've just selected. And again, it will give us a brief and basic information of the rate plan that you've just selected. So it will say the contract year, the rate level, that being corporate or consortia, and the rate plan name. So we know that this is a dynamic rate plan that I've just selected. The rate plan code and the market code we can leave blank. It's not mandatory, so we do just advise properties to leave these blank. Currency, you do want to make sure that it's pulling up the correct column currency for the particular hotel that you're on. And then we scroll down to room types. Again, you always want to refer to the program requirements to the right-hand side of the page, as this will give you the maximum room types that you can offer for this particular RFP. You can automatically send them all across to the right-hand side, or you can move them over one by one. So you do want to move it over. You can either drag it over or select it and move it over here. If you are selecting more than one room type, you do want to make sure they are in the correct order, usually by least expensive to most expensive. And if that's not already in the order that it should be, you can drag them up and down. For training purposes, I will just select one room type. Once you're happy with that, save and continue. And it will come up with the seasons and rates tab. Now, it might automatically pre-populate a start and end date, but again, referring to the right-hand side of the page, we do want to make sure that the start and end date reflect what has been entered in the contract period. So as we can see here, this is incorrect. You want to go ahead and click on the calendar for start date and ensure it mirrors what's been put under the contract period. So for this example, it's the 1st of January 2027 till the end of December 2027. If you were to enter a fixed rate plan, you can enter up to 5 seasons for this particular RFP. It may not always give you the option to add up to 5 seasons, but it will state again on the right-hand side of the page. You do just want to make sure that though, if you are entering multiple seasons, that you are adhering to the contract period of what's been entered. Again, at the right-hand side of the page. And if you are also selecting a fixed rate plan, it will give you a box to enter a rate per room type that you have selected. As this is dynamic, it's just a dynamic discount for all for all room types, sorry. So I'm just going to amend it to 10%. And once you're happy with the rates and the seasons, you want to go ahead and save and continue. If you have watched our previous training session on adding blackout dates to your Cvent profile, you'll know that adding those dates into your profile means that it does automatically pull to the RFPs that you're completing for that particular property. So here I've added the 24th and the 25th of December to the Cvent profile. So that's why it's automatically pulling through. Should you not want to have those listed, you can edit or delete or even change to fair dates. And if you haven't already added your blackout dates and fair dates to your property profile, you can also add them manually here. Again, referring to the right-hand side of the page, it will state the maximum fair dates and blackout dates and over the periods as well. So again, just refer back to that right-hand side of the page for any requirements. Once you're happy, save and continue. This will bring you up the amenities. So you can add the amenities from the drop-down box here. You can add breakfast, fitness centre, high-speed internet access, local phone calls, parking, toll-free calling card, and transport to and from the airport and the office. You can add as many of these as you like, but it is worth noting, specifically for breakfast, you cannot add it as a cost. Breakfast, if you add it, will automatically be included in the rate. And again, if you want to amend or delete anything that you've just entered, using these 3 dots here, you can click Edit or Delete Item. So if you do offer breakfast at the property but you want to offer it as a cost, you cannot do so. So we recommend just leaving breakfast out completely within the amenity stage. Everything else you can actually add as a cost. So parking, for example, it will ask you for the type and it will ask you for the value per day. So it might be that parking is £10 and it's actually not included in the rate, it will be at a cost. So you just want to either tick or untick the including rate, depending on whether it's going to be included or not, and save that there. And again, for as an example, we can maybe do Wi-Fi, but we'll leave it at 0 because it's included in the rate. Okay, so once you're happy with all the amenities that you want to add, we can proceed by save and continue. And here it brings up policies, taxes, and fees. So your policies, again, may auto pre-populate. For example, you can see here cancellation period and commission policy have already pulled through. If something has already pre-populated on this page, again, using those 3 dots, you can amend or delete. It might be that you don't want to offer it as commissionable. So if that is the case, we do just recommend you delete commission altogether. And if we wanted to change the cancellation, for example, we could do so by using this drop-down box. Okay, and then other policies may also include early checkout fee, whether or not the rate's going to be loaded in the GDS, negotiated rate availability, and oversold policy. So as an example, we'll click into negotiated rate availability, and this is asking you who's going to have access to the negotiated rates. So for this example, you may want to include the rate for employed contractors, but you may not want to include the rate for employees for personal use or retirees. Again, you may also want to include subsidiary employees on that. So depending on who you want to allow the rate to have access, you want to click or leave unticked. Again, at this stage, it's not necessary to add everything in. You will see that once we get to the end of the RFP, is that if there is something that has been requested by the corporate or agent, it may show as an error and it will allow you to enter and amend anything at that review stage too. So going down to taxes and fees, again, it might auto pre-populate. For example, because this property is in the UK, it's a VAT of 20% and that's included. But you can also add further fees or taxes here, such as service fee, city tax, lodging tax, occupancy tax, or state tax. It will ask you for a value, and you can also do that as an amount or a percent, and whether or not it will be included in the rate or at a cost. Okay, and once you're happy, you want to save and continue. And this will give you a review of the rate plan that you've just entered. So it's always just worth going through everything here, making sure you're all happy with it before attaching to the proposal. Again, at this stage, you can add, amend, or edit anything using the edit button here. But it may just take you back to the tab that you're in. And we'll just ask you to save and continue until you get to the review rate plan stage. Okay, so once you're happy, you want to attach the proposal. And it will bring you up to that first page that we were brought up when we initially selected yes to participate. You'll see that there's no errors now, so we can save and continue and actually proceed to the bid itself. So there may be other modules depending on the RFP and what they've selected and want to include. So you may see that there are modules about meetings and events, or maybe safety and security, anything like that. but usually it would just be custom questions. Anything that has a red asterisk will be a requirement, so it won't allow you to proceed unless you answer. And each RFP will be different. So these custom questions are relevant to the actual corporate and the program that you're applying for. They also may come in different formats. So they may be a yes or no question. They may ask you to input text. They may give you an option to select single-use answers. So it depends how the RFP has been set up and how they want you to answer the questions. So for this test RFP, you can see that there are 2 custom questions, and they are both a requirement because they've got that red asterisk there. Okay, so they are pre-populated because I have gone and completed this prior to this training session. But if it's the first time clicking into the RFP, they will be left blank, or they may be selected as a default answer, which has been set by the corporate agent upon building the RFP. Okay, so you want to go make sure that you are completing the appropriate requirements on these custom questions. And once everything's been completed, we can go ahead and save and continue. Okay, so this gives us a review of the proposal as a whole. So you will see the bid, which is the rate plan that we've completed, so the dynamic rate plan in this instance. You can see it has a tab for custom questions, and also the property information. So this is the information that pulls from your Cvent profile. You may notice that there are some errors, and this can happen when there are some maybe requirements that we didn't fill out at the rate plan stage. So, for example, you can see breakfast and fitness centre are erroring, and that is because when it is being built, the corporate or the agent has set that as a requirement. However, should you not want to offer breakfast, you can use the 3 dots and either add it as amenity or add as not offered. Again, remember with breakfast, you can't add it as a cost. So even if the property may offer breakfast, unless you're including it within the rate itself, we would recommend you to add it as not offered. And for fitness centre, again, we can change to not offered, or we can add it as an amenity. And for example, transport to and from the airport, maybe you want to add it as an amenity, and maybe there is a service at the property that you do that you can offer. For example, it may be £60 to take you to, or take the corporate to the airport, but it's not going to be included. It will come at a cost. So we can say you can book transport to and from the office, but you need to request it at reception, and it's going to be £60 per stay per person. So anything with an error message, you do just want to make sure that you're going ahead and completing. It's the same with the policies. It may just be that they've made it a requirement for you to answer. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to offer it. It just means that they need to know whether or not you do. So for commission, for example, you might want to edit that and input 10%, or you may want to delete it and change it to not offered. Okay. Once you've gone through the rate plan, you just want to make sure that all those triangles are completed. Custom questions, nothing showing as erroring on there, so that's great. We can proceed to property information. Where the property information is erroring, it may be that you have not completed it in Res to Market, or maybe that it just needs another, like an extra refresh, an extra push from Res to Market to Cvent. So it will give you all the modules. So these are all GBTA format modules. So we have property basic, service and amenities, health and safety, extended stay, and also corporate responsibility. So under each section, if where there is an error, you do just want to click edit, and it will automatically show you the field that needs completing. So you can go ahead and complete these here. It may be worth making a note of what isn't pulling through, because then you can then go and check on your res to market and make sure that that field has been actually answered. And if it has been answered, or if it hasn't, we would recommend completing it in res to market. If it has been answered and it's just not pulling through, we would still recommend you popping a note to support at support@hotelres.com and just asking them to do a little refresh of a res to market to Cvent. Okay, so I'll quickly go ahead and just complete these that are erroring. Again, worth noting that just because you've completed it in the RFP doesn't mean that it's going to then pull through to your Cvent profile. So you do want to go and make sure that everything has been completed in res to market in the first instance. Okay, so once you've gone through all of those errors, make sure that there's no errors, everything's looking as it should do. Go back to, just have a quick final review. And providing you're happy, you can go on save and complete. And you have a couple of different options as a property user. You can set as verified. That will mean that it's completed, but you're still possibly making some form of amendments. So typically, the demand team will not submit if it's set to verified. If you are happy for the RFP to go, please set as approved. It will give you a proposal point of contact, so we recommend you completing that with your name, contact details, and going ahead and saving that. And once it's in approved status, that then gives the demand team a green light to go ahead and submit for you. And you'll see then the status will show approved/pending submit. And we'll go ahead and submit that for you. As a property user, you will not actually be able to submit yourselves. It will be the demand team that has to submit all bids. So in approved status, we'll go ahead and submit for you. Verified, we typically will not submit because that to us means that you are still making some form of amendments. If we notice that it's been sat in a verified status for quite some time, we perhaps will reach out to you and just say, we can see X RFP has been sat in verified status for about a week. Are you happy for us to submit? If so, we'll pop it into approved and submit for you. If it is a consortia program that you have are submitting and putting into approved status, and we know that there is a cost, we will always confirm with the Cvent user who has completed it to make sure that they're aware of the costs before we go ahead and submit. So it's just worth noting, if it is a cost, we may still double check that you are wanting to go ahead and submit. And that is a quick overview on how to complete an RFP and the rate plan included. If there are any queries that you may have and you think I might have skipped over something within the training session, please do let us know on demand@hotelres.com and we'll happily assist you over email. Or again, you can give us a shout on call and we can go through anything over the phone with you. Yeah, thank you very much.